Hi guys, welcome back to Nita Crochet. It is summer and I know that this is one of those little pieces that may be very useful to some of you. So I made this tutorial for this skirt, pineapple stitch skirt, and my intention is to make a dress. The dress I made some time back and you guys asked for a tutorial and I didn't deliver, so I thought I should. So this is the process and my next tutorial will be the dress. So guys, as you can see, I am halfway my skirt already, but I'm going to show you how I got here and the calculations to make and consider to have this piece like this. All right, so let me just put this aside and then I'm going to get started on the tutorial. First, I'm working with Robin. It's 100% acrylic and it's 50 grams. It is size 2, so I am doubling my strands. But if you're working with DK yarn, you are on track, and yes, you can use 1 strand, all right, or any size 3 yarn. I do not advise size 4 for this project. I do not at all, unless one just chooses to try it out. But you know, with the calculations I'm going to give you guys, you may find that you will not get the result that I have, or your work will be kind of bigger for the size I have stated in the calculations. All right, so I'm also working with a 4.5 millimeter hook, and you will need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle. All right. Oh, and a tape measure, but because I'm sharing measurements anyway, but if you need any adjustments, you will need a tape measure. So first you are going to make a slip knot, and for sizes small, you are going to chain 112 minus 1. So that makes it 111. And then sizes medium, you are going to work 127, and sizes large, you are going you are going to work 141. So the reason as to why it is like that is this stitch pattern works in sets of 16. Work in sets of 16 and then deduct the last chain. All right. So for example, sizes small in sets of 16 is 112. I think those are about 7-8 sets of 16. So it's 112. So to make it 111, I had to deduct that one last stitch. I deduct the last stitch because we are working in rounds, and that means our very first stitch is also going to act as our very last stitch, right? So I'm just making a sample for you guys. That's why mine is very small, because I just want to show you guys how I got to where I am with the skirt. So once you have worked your stitches, you are just going to work a slip stitch into the very first stitch into the very first chain, and then you are going to chain 6. 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch, the other 3 are for our chain gap. And you will skip 3 and work a double crochet into the next stitch, then chain 3, skip 3, work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, skip 3, work a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip 3, work a double crochet into the next. So the chains that we have worked are chains that are in position to go. Okay, anyway, the chains we have worked are chains that are in position to stretch out to meet your hip area. So when you go all the way around doing exactly that, chaining 3, skipping 3, you'll come to the end where you have only 3 stitches left, and what you will do is you will chain 3 and skip 3, work a slip stitch into the third chain stitch of the 6 chains that started the row. Right? And now I'm going to get back to explaining. I just don't want to get caught up in the explanation. So you will chain 6 and 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch, so you skip 3 and work a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 3, skip 3, work a double crochet into the next stitch. Guys, I have a toddler. She's always disturbing me, banging the table and messing me up, but yes, you work a double crochet into that stitch just like that. So yes, I have forgotten what I was explaining, but oh my, chain 3, skip 3, I'm trying to remember. Work a double crochet into the next stitch. Guys, I've forgotten. Oh yeah, this skirt should be in position to stretch out to meet your hip measurements. To stretch out, right? I mean to stretch out. To stretch out. Not to fit. No, oh god, no. Okay, what I mean is you do not make measurements that are exactly your hip measurements. Instead, you make measurements that are not your hip measurements but can stretch out to meet your hip measurements. So in that way, our skirt can remain body hugging. And then, what did I want to say? I'm forgetting. Oh god. The hip. Oh yeah. Also, this skirt is going to be worn to our lower waist, not high waist, unless someone chooses to. So if you choose to wear this from your high waist and that's what you intend to do, that means you will have to work several rows of the mesh before you get to the pineapple stitch. All right. Then also the fact that I am making this for the dress that I showed you guys, it should be worn lower waist so that the other pineapple stitch that is going to cover the underbust and the whole entire stomach sits exactly between that gap of the underbust and the high waist. So that's why I intend to have this worn lower waist. I hope now I am very, very clear. That's what I wanted to say. So what happens is you are going to just continue working your mesh all the way until the end, chaining 3, skipping 3 until you come to the end of the row. And when you're left with 3 stitches, you will chain 3 and skip those last 3 stitches just like we did previously, and work a slip stitch into the third chain stitch of the 6 chains that started the row. All right, now what you are going to do next is you are just going to continue doing exactly what we have done for the row we just finished working, and you will just repeat that and repeat that for the next, I don't know how many rows. I worked 10 rows in total for mine, but you can repeat that until it is up to the length that you want for your coverage, at least below your bum. Okay, so that you leave room for the pineapple stitch as well. All right, so just work this until you are up to this length, and if you are done with your mesh, then you are going to pick up with what I'm going to do right now. Okay, now to introduce our pineapple stitch into this mesh stitch, what we are going to do is we are going to chain 3, and those 3 chains are going to act as a double crochet stitch. So into that very same stitch, I'm going to work a double crochet just like that, and then I will chain 1 and work 2 double crochets into that very same stitch, just like that, and I will chain 3 and skip 7, so we get into that double crochet stitch right there. We skip 1 double crochet stitch and get into the next. That means we have skipped 7 stitches, the 3 of the chains, then the double crochet, then the 3 other chains, right? So we work 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then we chain 1 and work 2 double crochets once again in that very same stitch. So we go in and go in once again. You see that? Then we are going to chain 3 and skip 7, work 2 double crochets into the next stitch, chain 1, work 2 double crochets once again in that very same stitch. You see that? So there we are. Chain 3, skip 7, work 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then chain 1, work 2 double crochets once again in that very same stitch. Okay, chain 3 and skip 7, work 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then chain 1, work 2 double crochets once again in that very same stitch. So guys, this is what you are going to do all the way around until you are left with 7 stitches to end your row. That's where I'm going to meet you guys and show you what to do. All right, I'm going to meet you right there. Okay, now we are right here and I have 7 stitches left to end my row. So to end my row, I am going to chain 3 and I will skip the 7 stitches. All right, then I'll work a slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the row. Okay, so now what's going to happen here is I am going to work a slip stitch into the next chain 1 space because I need to get myself to the center of that very first V stitch right there. So I'll work a slip stitch in there. And here I'm going to chain 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch, and into that very same stitch I'm going to work a double crochet, chain 1, work 2 double crochets once again into that very same chain space. Right, there you are. See how it looks like. So now here I am going to chain 3. Now this is where I want you guys to be very attentive because when I made this tutorial I had to redo my piece and make adjustments. So I'm going to give you the adjustments I made instead of what you see in the tutorial, just for this very first step, but it also dictates what happens for the next steps, right? So here I'm going to chain 3 and I'm going to skip 5. Okay, get into that chain 1 space of the next V stitch and work 7 double crochets. Now in the tutorial or in the video I made 9 double crochets, but I later figured that if you work smaller pineapples, because some of you don't know how to manage your tension, and because we work with different thickness of yarns, it means that some of you may fail to get the best result. So I adjusted this keeping that in mind, right? So for you guys, work 7 double crochets. I worked 9, but I rectified that later on off the camera. But I need you guys to make sure you work 7 double crochets all in this very same stitch. All right, yeah, that's the only adjustments anyway, but you know, it dictates what happens for the next steps. And then here you are going to chain 3 and skip 5, get into the chain 1 space of the next V stitch and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch or space. Right, this is how your work should look like. So now as you can see here, I worked 9 double crochets, but you have to work 7. So you're going to chain 3 and skip 7, and you're going to work 7 double crochets into that next chain space. Please work 7 because I have updated the tutorial for this skirt, and the next videos are going to be for the updated version. So you work 7 double crochets in here, and then once you have all 7 double crochets, you will now chain 3 and you will skip 7, get into the next chain space and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same chain space. Alright, so you see that we are working 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets in this chain space, and then the next chain space we work 7 double crochets. So that's the sequence in which we are working this. So from there you chain 3 and skip 7, work 7 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Okay, just make sure you work 7 because I worked 9, but I later figured that it may not work for most of you, more so because we work with different tensions, and I don't want anyone getting a flare effect due to the pineapple stitch. Alright, so here this is how your work should look like. You're just going to go all the way around doing exactly what we have been doing until the end right there. That's where I'm going to meet you. So here we are at the end of our row. Like you can see, I have 7 double crochets for this one. Like I said, I had to update this version so that it is easier for you guys seeing exactly what the tutorial has to be showing you. And now this is what we have. So we are going to work a slip stitch into the nearest chain 1 space, and there we are going to chain 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch, and then we work 1 double crochet and chain 1, work 2 double crochets into that very same chain gap, just like this. And now we are going to chain we chain 3 and skip 7. We get into that very first double crochet stitch of the 7 double crochets, and there we work a double crochet. Then we shall chain 1, work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, work a double crochet in the next stitch, and this is what we are going to do for all the 7 double crochets. So you just chain 1, work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, work a double crochet in the next, until you have all the 7 double crochets worked. So there we go. And we still have 2 of them. So you chain 1, work a double crochet in there, and then chain 1, work a double crochet. Oh, that was the last one. So this is how your work should look like. Chain 3, skip 7. Oh, this time we're skipping 5, sorry. Skip 5 and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets into the next chain space. Alright, so here we chain 3 and skip 5, work a double crochet into that very first double crochet of the 7 double crochets we worked for the shell. So here you chain 1, work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, work a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, work a double crochet into the next stitch, just like that. Chain 1, work a double crochet in the next, right there. So you just keep doing this for all the 7 double crochets that we have for our shell, and I'm going to show you how our work should look like. Chain 1, work your last double crochet in there. So here, this is how it should look like. Now from here you will chain 3 and skip 5, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets into the next chain space, just like that. So you're just going to keep doing this for all the shells and every stitch, all the way going round until the end of your row. And once you come to the end right here, you are going to chain 3 and work a slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the row. Okay, so that's how you end your row. And now this is how your work should look like. You see that? That's how your work should look like. Now here you are going to work a slip stitch into the next chain space. Right there, we just work a slip stitch in there like that. Then we shall chain 3 and work a double crochet into that chain space. Chain 1, work 2 double crochets once again into that very same chain space, just like that. Now here we are going to chain 3 and skip 5. Oh no, we are skipping, let me see, we are skipping 6. Okay, so we get into that chain 1 space, the first one for our shell, and work a single crochet. Then we are going to chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet into that next chain space, chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet into that next chain space, chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet in the next chain space, right there. So this is what you do for all the chain gaps we have for our shell. Chain 3, skip skip 1 and work a single crochet into the next chain space, chain 3 and skip 1, work a single crochet into the very last chain space. Okay, right there. So this is how your work should look like. Okay, now from here I'm going to chain 3 and I'm going to skip 6, get into that chain 1 space and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same chain space. Chain 3 and skip 6, get into that chain space and work a single crochet, then chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet into the next chain space, chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet into that next chain space, chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet into the next chain space, chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet into that next chain space, chain 3, skip 1, work a single crochet in the next chain space. So this is how your work should look like. And from here we are just going to chain 3, skip 6, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same chain space. This girl keeps disturbing me, but I'm trying so hard not to make sure that she's not making that much noise. So once you have that, this is how your work should look like, and I'm going to let you work the rest of the row on your own. I'm going to get back at the end of your row right there. When you get there, you chain 3 and work a slip stitch into that third chain stitch right there. So let me meet you there. Here we are at the end of my row, so I'm going to work a slip stitch into that next chain 1 space. So here I will work 3 chains, then work 1 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets into that very same chain space. Remember that chain 3 acts as a double crochet stitch, okay? So we work our 2 double crochets into that very same chain space right there. Now here we are going to chain 3. Oh, sorry, we are going to chain 1 and work 2 double crochets once again into that very same chain space. So that means we have 3 sets of 2 double crochets. Then here we are going to chain 3 and skip 7. Get into that chain gap right there and work a single crochet. Then chain 3, work a single crochet in the next chain gap. Chain 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap. Chain 3, work a single crochet in the next chain gap. Chain 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap. So here we are now going to chain 3 and skip 7, work 2 double crochets. So we are going to work 2 double crochets into that next chain space. All right. Once you have all 2 double crochets, you are now going to chain 1 and work 2 double crochets once again into that very same chain space. And once you also have those done, you will chain 1 and again we work 2 double crochets into that very same chain space. Now the reason as to why we are having all these many double crochets in here is because this is the row from which we are going to start splitting our pineapples and having independent pineapples. So we work our 2 double crochets. That means we have a set of 3 we have 3 sets of 2 double crochets into this chain space, right? So we chain 3 and skip 7, work a single crochet in there, chain 3, work a single crochet into the next chain gap, chain 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap, chain 3, work a single crochet in the next chain gap, and you do this for the last chain gap as well. So we work in there. So here we are going to chain 3 and skip 7. We work 2 double crochets into this next chain space right there. So you just get in there and work your 2 double crochets. Then chain 1. Work 2 double crochets once again into that very same chain gap. Chain 1. work 2 double crochets once again in that very same chain gap. All right, so this is how you're going to continue working your whole row, because I'm going to let you work the rest of it on your own. But this is how your work should look like. Let me let you guys go all the way around, and I'm going to meet you at the end of the row so that I show you what to do. Right, so when you get there, work 3 chains and work a slip stitch. So let me meet you guys there. So now here we have come to the end of our row, and we are now going to work a slip stitch into this very nearest chain space right there. And from here I'm going to chain 3. For the first time I'm going to turn my work. For the first time since the mesh, I'm going to turn my work, and this will feel like you're working in a reverse mode, but that into that very same chain space is where you're going to work your double crochet. Then chain 1, work a double crochet once again in that very same chain space. Now the reason for this is we are working independent pineapples, like we are splitting the pineapples. So this is going to be the very first pineapple independent of the other. So here we chain 3 and skip 7. We work a single crochet into that next chain gap, right? Chain 3, skip 3 and get into the next chain gap and work a single crochet, chain 3, get into that next chain gap, work a single crochet, chain 3, work a single crochet in the next chain gap, right? Now from here we chain 3 and skip 7, get into that chain 1 space right there after the 2 double crochets and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in the very same chain gap. So that's how you end your first row of this independent pineapple, and this is how it looks like, right? Now for the next row we are going to chain 3. These are just our turning chains, they don't act as a stitch. So we skip 2 and get into that chain 1 space and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same space. Right there. And once we have that, we are now going to chain 3 and skip 7. So when we skip 7, we work a single crochet into that next chain gap right there. Chain 3 and get into the next chain gap and work a single crochet. Chain 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap. Chain 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap. And then here, as you can see, this is how our work looks like. So we chain 3 and skip 7, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in the next chain space. So this is how you end your row. And that's quite it. So this is how your work looks like. And then now we chain 3 and turn our work. Like I said, these 3 chains are just our turning chains, they're not a stitch. So we skip 2 and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in the next chain space, just like that. And now here we are going to chain 3 and skip 7, get into that chain space and work a single crochet, Then chain 3, work a single crochet into the next chain gap, chain 3, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all into that next chain gap, right there. So this is it. This is how your work should look like. And now from here I'm going to chain 3 and turn my work. Skip 2 and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all in the next chain space, chain 1 space. And then here we are going to chain 3 and skip 7, work a single crochet into the next chain gap, chain 3, work a single crochet into that next, chain 3, skip 7, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all in the next chain space. You see that? All right. So here we are going to chain 3 and turn our work. And you will skip 2 and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all into that next chain gap. Now from here we are just going to skip all those 11 stitches and work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all in that next chain 1 space. There you go. And for the last row of this pineapple we shall chain 3 and turn our work. Skip 2 and work 2 double crochets into that first chain 1 space, and then skip the next 4 stitches, get into that next chain 1 space and work 2 double crochets in there. So that's how you end your pineapple. And here I'll just cut my yarn at a good length so that I can use the yarn end to weave it into my, to weave my end into the work. Yeah, so just secure this end like that. I will weave in that end later. I'm just now going to show you how to start your next row of the independent pineapple. Then you will work the rest of the pineapples on your own. So to work the next independent pineapple, I insert my hook into the chain 2 space in between the next set of 2 double crochets that we worked for our last row before we started splitting the pineapples. So just to have you take a look closely, you can see where I placed my my hook. So into that very same chain space we work a double crochet and then chain 1, work 2 double crochets once again into that very same chain space. Don't worry, I'll later cut off those peeping ends. Okay, now you work your second double crochet, and here you are going to chain 3 and skip 7, work a single crochet in there, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap, chain 3, work a single crochet in the next chain gap. Okay, chain 3, work a single crochet into that next chain gap, chain 3 and skip 7, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same chain gap. So that means the other chain 1 space is the one going to start the next pineapple. Okay, so for us, we just work into this first chain 1 space, and we work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets into that very same chain space right there. So from here, we don't work into those next stitches, we just chain 3 and turn our work. And now we pick up from that next row for where we worked the other independent pineapple. So here we chain 2, chain 3, skip 2, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same chain space. Then chain 3 and skip 7, work a single crochet into that chain space, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet in the next chain space, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet in that next chain space, chain 3 and skip 7, work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all in that very same chain gap. So this is what you get to do, and just follow exactly what we did right here and paste it right there. And what I have done here, paste it all into this other one starting from here. So your next will start from here all the way to here, all right, and work it. Even your next one should start from there. So literally you just keep doing that for all the pineapples that you have to have on your skirt until the end. All right, so yes, this is how it should look like. So once you have gone all the way around for all your independent pineapples, your skirt should look like this, and then it should come off as this. It is honestly up to you to add a drawstring if you wish. If you don't wish, this is also very okay. I hope you liked making your skirt, and let me see you all in my next video when I am making that dress. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching, and goodbye. The written pattern is available on all my online shops. Bye.